Mr. President, I rise today to discuss my resolution to disapprove the Biden Department of Energy's final rule targeting gas furnaces. In October of last year, the Biden Department of Energy announced a final rule on energy efficiency standards for gas furnaces. And in December, the agency published the final rule, mandating that gas furnaces achieve an efficiency standard of 95%, when right now residential gas furnaces only require an efficiency standard of 80%. This rule would remove up to 60% of current residential furnaces from the market and would impact 55% of American households. It would have a terrible negative effect on families who are already struggling with historic inflation numbers under the Biden administration. And it would force consumers to spend thousands of dollars they don't have on renovations to accommodate a new gas furnace or to switch to an electric appliance, which could mean higher monthly utility bills for families. In Texas, 25% of households have a natural gas furnace, and of those, over 45% would be negatively impacted, meaning they would spend more to retrofit their home and to purchase and install a furnace than they would save over the life of the appliance. Now, in every state, and in the state of Texas, some Texans may choose to move to an electric appliance for a variety of reasons. And some may decide they'd like to stick with a gas furnace. But with this Biden rule in effect, Texans won't have a choice. And neither will the residents of any of the other 49 states. The Biden administration will have made the decision for them. Texans aren't alone in this. Other states are in a similar situation. 39% of Arizonans with a natural gas furnace would lose money from this rule. And let me give you some percentages from some other states picked almost at random. This is the percentage of households with a natural gas furnace that would be negatively impacted in the following states. In Pennsylvania, 33%. In West Virginia, 47%. In Montana, 36%. In Wisconsin, 16%. In Michigan, 35%. In Nevada, a staggering 63% negatively impacted. In Maryland, 57%. And in the state of Ohio, 47% of those households would be negatively impacted. This rule is a continuation of the Biden administration's capitulation to environmental radicals who value following climate dogma more than helping families actually provide for their kids and save for the future. Joe Biden, when he campaigned in 2020, told voters that if they elected him, he would halt drilling onshore and offshore in the United States. And his first week in office, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline and destroyed 11,000 jobs with a stroke of a pen, including 8,000 union jobs. Joe Biden shut down all new leases on federal land, onshore and offshore. He shut down development in ANWR, putting in place banking regulators and SEC regulators to cut off debt financing and to cut off equity financing for energy exploration and development. He put a tax, yes, a tax, on natural gas production despite the cost of living crisis many Americans are facing because of failed Democrat policies. And that's why I introduced this Congressional Review Act, to help alleviate the unending assault on American families from President Biden and the Democrats' radical energy agenda. The average household in Texas has spent $5,113 more on energy due to inflation since January 2021. $5,113 is a lot of money for a lot of families. And this administration's answer to those struggling is that it's more important to appease the environmental radicals than allowing you to pay your rent or pay your mortgage or to save for your family or to put money away for your kids in a college fund. And what's maddening is that this is done, they say, to reduce carbon emissions and to help the environment. But why would Americans take them at their word on this? This is the same administration that has no problem burdening U.S. oil and gas producers who maintain the highest environmental standards in the world, but refuse to crack down on Iran for shipping 2 million barrels a day of oil all around the world. It's the same administration that in one breath wants to reduce emissions globally, but will then ban new U.S. permits to ship liquid natural gas overseas, leaving our allies to fend for themselves and driving them to burn dirtier coal, emit more carbon, and pollute the environment even more. So if you care about reducing emissions, this administration has been an abject failure. And instead of delivering actual solutions, it's their belief that putting a de facto ban on your gas furnace is more important than addressing record coal consumption in China, the biggest polluter on the face of the planet. And according to the Department of Energy's own estimate, 91 to 95% of furnace replacements will be at an annual fuel utilization efficiency rate of 92% or higher by 2028. So according to the Department of Energy's own estimate, this rule is unnecessary. The folks who can already afford the higher cost of a new gas furnace can buy one. But Americans who can least afford another price shock after suffering under Bidenflation for years will be hurt the most. Mr. President, I want you to listen to these data. According to some estimates, the Department of Energy rule will lead to higher prices for 30% of senior citizen households, for 27% of small businesses, and for 26% of low-income households. This rule represents the fundamental transformation of the Democrat Party. There was a time the Democrat Party called itself a party of the working class. That is no longer the case. Today's Democrat Party cares more about the money from California environmentalist billionaires than they do about the jobs or the monthly budget of hardworking families in America. Today, the blue-collar family in America is the Republican Party because the Democrat Party looked at their union brethren and said, "We don't care about you anymore. We're chasing the money." That's why groups like the National Federation of Independent Businesses, which represents 300,000 small businesses across the country, strongly supports this CRA. Perhaps it should come as no surprise that the Biden administration is being sued for this illegal rule. The law that empowers the Department of Energy to set efficiency standards was passed during the energy scarcity of the 1970s. But the law also contains a prohibition against weaponizing efficiency standards to eliminate entire product categories, like this rule seeks to do. The American people are required to comply with Joe Biden's rule, effectively banning affordable gas furnaces on December 18th, 2028. Congress should come together and vote for the resolution to stop this rule. Doing so would save American families and American seniors thousands and thousands of dollars, as well as save American jobs, and we should do this without delay. Mr. President, I move to proceed to calendar number 399, SJ Res 58.
Under the